All right, so let's talk about main and section. Main and section is reserved keyword in HTML that you use to show the browser where your main contents are. So you can either use section or you use main. So if I type main, so main is like a box, just that the browser recognizes it as a particular area where your content is where your main contents are. So I can say main, and I can give my main an ID main. Your ID can be the same name with your selector. Sorry, your ID can have the same name with the element's name, but then you can either use the element's name itself in the styling, or you can use its ID. So let's use the ID. We will be using the ID more because I love doing that. And we say our width should be 100% of the screen, and then our height should be 500 px. All right, okay, let's see. All right, so you can see that nothing happens because we've not added a background color. So let's add a background color and call it red as usual. So now you can see that you now have a section that has width and height. So even though you did not say it is div, but immediately you said main, the browser knew that we are talking about a section, a box, a content area. All right, so let's get rid of main and also use section. All right, you can either use main or section. So I can say section, and I'll give my section an ID section. So that's just it. So you can see that if I just come here and change the name of my main to section, you can see that nothing really changes. You can see nothing really changes. To show that this is working, let's change the background color. Let's change the background color to something else. You can see the background color has changed. So you either use main or you use section. So that is that. So I believe with this we've covered enough that we can now build our first navigation bar and possibly build something that looks like a website. Of course, it's a website. We're going to build a very simple website. So in the next video, I'm going to design a very beautiful navigation bar. May not very beautiful, maybe in my eyes, because I'm not good at coloring, though I'm trying as well. I've used some website before, but maybe color more than me as well. So it all depends on your creativity and what you want to do. So in the next section, we want to design a very beautiful nav bar. But before we talk about designing a very beautiful nav bar, I want to show you something more to complete our knowledge, so that we can continue. All right, so let me talk about oh my god. All right, ordered list and unordered list. All right, ordered list and unordered list. Unordered list is called UL list. All right, so within my UL list, I can say I can just put some link. I can decide within my UL list to put some link or to put some list or just list. Okay, I will say list, and I will say come here. All right, let me just make this. Let me just duplicate this so that you know what a UL list is. It's called unordered list. All right, let's see what happens in our browser. You can see this is it. Come here. This is a list. This is how you make a list. All right, this is how you make a list. So we also have ordered list. This is unordered list. So we also have ordered list OL. All right, OL. They are all the same. Let's look at how it is displayed. you can see they are the same. All right, ordered list, you can use ordered list or unordered list. Or oh sorry, this is not accurate, this should be oh, let's see what happens. All right, you can see they are the same. All right, so you can have an unordered list inside an ordered list. Remember I said that this must not be list. I can decide to just put some text. Let's see what will happen here. You see, it's now putting the list in a line. All right, so this space I put here does not matter, it is seeing it as a single text. But if I want to make it to be one by one, so this is ordered list, this is ordered list. Now let's see what will happen if we put unordered list. Let's see what will happen if we put an ordered list and say just put some things here. Okay, so let's see how it will display it. Let's see how the browser will display the unordered list. All right, you see it is still seeing it as one particular line of text. So if you want it to list it in that first way that we did it before, you have to declare that they are links or they are list. List is simply that there's nothing inside it. I can just put some anchor tags inside it and say click here. All right, so you see, let's see what happens with that. Control C. All right, so let's check our browser. Oh, sorry, we put the click here inside our href. Oh my god, sorry. So we are referencing to click here and that doesn't exist, so the thing should be here. Don't mind about what I put in reference, it's just to show that it's a link. Okay, so you can now see click here, click here, click here, click here. This is ordered list. All right, they are the same, whichever one that works this is unordered list. Whichever one that works perfectly for you, then you use that. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now what if we want to make it to be like bullet points? Bullet points. Let's use our ordered list to make bullet points. All right, so instead of saying A, I'm going to say list. And within my list I'm going to put an A inside my list, and my A I'm going to say click here. All right, so within I'm going to have a duplicate of this. I have a duplicate of this. I have a duplicate of all this to make our list. Sorry that this code is being indented this way, it's not supposed to be like that. All right, so let's refresh. You can now see that everything is now aligned. Everything is now aligned like that. All right, so but if it's let me see what happens if it is ordered. All right, you can see that you just use this for whatever that you want to do. All right, whatever that you want to do, you use that to do it. Okay, so that is that about ordered list and unordered list. That's that about ordered list and unordered list. Now I think our universal selector is somehow affecting our result. So let me just get rid of this for now and let me see what happens in the browser. Okay, that is what I've been expecting. All right, so on ordered list gives a bullet point of 1, 2, 3, 4 and the rest of them, while on ordered list gives it as a bullet point. So that's actually the problem, because we said there should be no padding and margin in our universal selector, so it is removing everything by the side. All right, so you can see that this one is a bullet point. So that is that about ordered list and unordered list. Now remember, I said you may decide to remove this list. It's not a must to remove to have this list here. It's not a must to have this here. You can see I'm deleting this thing this way. After, I'm going to show you a shortcut how you can delete all of them at once, but for now let's focus on what we are doing. I don't want to give you much shortcuts. All right, so you can have just an A, and they will also just that they will now be in a line, because it's no longer a list, it is now in a line. But if you put list on them, that is going to put those bullet points. So that's why you need to put that li and li, so that, because this is ordered list, I are saying list 1, list 2, list 3, list 3. So if it is unordered, it's going to put a bullet point. If it is ordered, it's going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to number it automatically. So that is that about ordered list. All right, so I'm going to show you something more. I'm going to show you one more thing before we continue to build our first navigation bar. I'm going to talk about span. So what is span? I'm going to talk about span, sub, and sub. Span, sub, and sub. All right, so assuming I have a paragraph, and I will say lorem 50. All right, so I have a paragraph now, and the paragraph is 50 text. Now, how do I make a portion of the text to be a different color? All right, I can come here. I will come here and put what I call span. All right, I will say span. I'll say span. Now span is, so I'm going to remove the closing tag and put it somewhere here. All right, okay, so it means that this span is showing you that the elements within this span, I can give it a different color. So I can say now span I can say color is what? Red. Sorry, so the color of my span is red. Now let's see what happens. Do you see that all the text within the span is now colored red? Okay, so this is how to give a different color to some text inside the paragraph. So this is emphasis. So I can also lay an emphasis on a particular text. Another one is called em. Em is used to lay emphasis on a text. Em. Okay, all right, so that's em, and I'm going to put this em in this. All right, so all right, okay, so now there's something I want to do. Okay, let me put the em in somewhere else. Let me emphasis is em. All right, so let me just copy the closing tag. Okay, let me just copy this text and put within my em tag. All right, Control V. All right, now let's see what happens. You can see this text has been changed. All right, this text has been changed. So if I you can see that because it's an emphasis, it is laying an emphasis. It's changed the font size to the emphasis font. So this is, you can see now, and this is my span. Now let me show you what I mean by sub and sub. So after this lorem, okay, let me just put my sub here. I can say sub is below and sub is up. I can say sub let me say sub sub, and I will say this. Okay, let me say sub 1, 2, 3. So what's going to happen? Let's see our browser. Let's see our browser and notice what happens. All right, what is that? You can see this lorem sub 1, 2, 3. So it is putting the 1, 2, 3 below it. So it's just like a base. All right, but I can change the sub to sub. Okay, to sub. All right, so let's see what happens. So the 1 2 3 is now up. All right, so this is some manipulations you can do on a test to make it very, very wonderful. All right, let me also show you one more thing. These are just extras. Let me show you one more thing before we are done with this. So I'm going to get rid of this, having shown you all that. Now I'm going to show you about some special characters. Like you may see something, a place they will say copyright, you will see a C cycled up. How do you declare it? I'll say copyright 2021. How do I put that a C? This ampersand sign. We use ampersand sign. Sorry, I've not gotten what I'm looking for. Okay, this sign, and we say copy. Okay, you can see these are all reserved, special characters. So we say copyright, I will say training. All right, now let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. You can see this sign, that is the special character, copyright 2021, copy. This thing is copy this thing. All right, we have other special characters. Immediately you declare the ampersand sign, is going to give you some special characters that you can use. We have acute and the rest of them. And let's see what this one is. You can see these are all special characters, and you can make use of them for your web development. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and then in our next video let's try to design a very beautiful navbar. Thank you.